What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Realistic Career Mode. It's episode number 57, and we start today's episode off with our former team, Burnley, who as we know this season have struggled mightily right down the bottom of the table and struggling to keep their heads above water. And this would of course be the first game without Reece Nelson. Yes, of course, in our Carabao Cup victory over Liverpool in the first leg at Anfield, Nelson went down. And as we know, just like Ezri Konsa, done his ACL, second player to get an ACL this season. He is out for the season and won't see him again until next year. So absolutely gutted about that. Obviously Nelson has been the star of the series so far. That was both our former team Burnley and also here with the Gunners as well, but now done for the season. How will we cope without our talisman? So yeah, first game, it was indeed a struggling clarity at the Emirates Stadium. I thought this would be a banker, but on the back of the big news that Nelson is done for this season and the fact that recently we have been a little bit shaky, particularly defensively, I wasn't too shocked to see this. Brian Brobby giving the Clarets a surprise lead in North London as they desperately need to pick up points to keep their heads above water. But 23 minutes in, a chance to respond. Josh De Silva going for a thunderbolt from range. Good stop there though, as it was pushed away, and still we trailed by a goal. And to be fair to Burnley as well, despite struggling so much this season, they weren't playing for a point like they got at Turf Moor. They were going for all three, playing some good football. And 9 minutes before the break, oh my goodness gracious me, Arsenal 0, Burnley 2, Brian Brobby with a brace, and I was thinking, goodness gracious me, what I was saying recently about if we're to stay in a title race with Man City, we can't afford to slip up in any game, let alone games like these that should be bankers. So right before the break, I thought, come on man, can't be down 2 at half time. That is going to feel so sickening, walking down the tunnel, trailing by 2 to a side right now just above the bottom 3. So Smith Rowe gives us a glimmer of hope, puts us back in the game right before half time, half the deficit, and makes it 2-1. And soon after the restart, still down by a goal, needing to get back on level terms, Harvey Barnes rolls it across the middle, and who's there to turn it in from 3 yards out? Luis Suarez, the Colombian. Without Reece Nelson now, the top scorer of the division so far, needs to be consistently banging them in if we are to keep pace with Guardiola's side. 2-2 as we come back from 2-0 down to level it, and with 16 minutes to go, momentum had totally changed. It was all Burnley in the first 40 minutes. After that, we'd flipped the script, we looked a better team, and with 15 minutes on the clock, Barnes finds Smith Rowe, turns the veteran Ben Mee, and finesses it into the bottom corner for his second of the game as we complete the comeback in North London. Arsenal 3, Burnley 2, and you best believe I was feeling very relieved after this game here. 2-0 down, heading into the first half, thinking, goodness, like this would be a shocking defeat. Massive blow in our race for the title, but had to turn it around in the second half. And I love the goal scorers that got the goals as well. Smith Rowe, who last season won the assist title and was one of our players of the season, if not our joint player of the season last year. And Suarez, who right now, again, leading the way in the race for the Golden Boot. And as we know, Nelson won it last year. He won't win it this year. He'd like to see his Colombian teammate win it if possible. 3-2 and a big victory there as we return to winning ways in the league. And following that, as you can see, we're simulating through to the following game at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest, also struggling down the bottom of the table right now in the Premier League. We'd able to draw for the FA Cup 4th round, and as you can see, we've got lower league Crew Alexandra coming to take us on to the Emirates Stadium as well. Got 3 Wolves at Molineux in the 3rd round. Last year, of course, we reached this round, the 4th round, for being knocked out home by Everton. Not sure Crew will pose as much of a threat, but I will still pick some starts for the game because one thing I don't want, just like last year, is an early exit in the FA Cup. Mentioned it before, I want silverware of some kind in the cabinet come the end of the season. Look, if it's the Carabao Cup, it's the FA Cup, if it's the Premier League, if it's the Champions League, I don't mind whichever one it is. Obviously, you love the Champions League or the Premier League, but the FA Cup or the Carabao Cup will suit me just fine. So FA Cup, you know, 3 straight years getting to Wembley, 2 final appearances in those first 3 years with Burnley, plus the win back in Season 2. This year, I'm targeting at a bare minimum an FA Cup semi-final place. Great chance to reach the last 16. They're drawn against lower league Crew. So for the second game of 4 in today's episode, Nottingham Forest away at the City Ground. I've got asked an interesting question pre-game as well, talking about how we've been faltering a little bit recently despite our progress against Wolves in the FA Cup and our big win over the Reds in the Carabao Cup semi-final first leg. We only just overcame Burnley, coming back from 2-0 down to win it. We got torn apart by Everton at Goodison Park, and I was thinking, okay, Alright, the media's starting to think we're choking a little bit. We can't do it without Reece Nelson. Well, let's see what we can do here against Nottingham Forest. 2 early goals. 1 in the first 10 minutes, I believe, and then Smith Rowe made it 2. And then right before the break, a chance to make it 3, which we would do as well. Great storming run by club captain Kieran Tierney down left-hand side. Rolls it across, and who's there to turn in from close range? The Colombian, Luis Suarez, who makes it 3. So 3-0 up at the break. And in the second half, kind of took my foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Just conserved energy. But with 60 minutes to go, a chance to make it 4, which we would do as well. It's a little bit sweaty, but I wanted to do it because I wanted to see him get his first goal for the club. First youth player at the academy to score a goal in an Arsenal shirt. Who is it? Jonathan Carpenter. Do you remember him? The handyman who was pretty decent last season in the limited game time I gave him. Brought him off the bench, played a 1-2 with Luis Suarez, and after the cutback from the Colombian, he wasn't going to miss from 4 yards out. So 4-0 to the Gunners, and a few minutes later, a chance to make it 5. Nice passing and moving. Saw Gabriel Martinelli get rolled forward down left-hand side. And the Brazilian fires in from close range to make it 5-0 in a dominating performance at the City ground. And all the media sitting there thinking pre-game, are the wheels going to come off for the Gunners? Are they about to collapse now? They've lost their talisman and been a little bit shaky at the back. Nah, absolutely not. We will push Man City every step of the way. You best believe that, although of course, as we know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to stick with Guardiola's side, who have been the best team in the game thus far. And for the third and fourth games in today's episode here, and the penultimate one in today's episode, Wolverhampton Wanderers coming to take on the Emirates Stadium, looking for revenge after we knocked them out of the FA Cup third round at Molineux. And I've talked about it this season as well, and also last season too. Since joining Arsenal, I've put an emphasis on trying to score more team goals with the Gunners and try and play some neat and tidy and great passing football that they do in real life. And I've got to say, I've been pretty impressed with some of the team goals I have scored. This is a really nice one here with Luis Suarez scoring once again. Man's on fire right now as he wraps up what was a lovely team move. And 39 minutes into the game, stood up by a goal. Great chance to always get back on level terms here. Pedro Neto denied by Bern Leno, going for the chip and the German, just about doing enough to keep us still up by a goal. And from that, we passed our way forward from the back. Tierney found Josh De Silva. Lovely ball outside towards Harvey Barnes. Elvedi, the last man to beat, gets around him with the ball roll. Other defenders come back into the picture, but it does not stop the form of Fox. Cuts in from the left, and you saw Martinelli score against Nottingham Forest. Barnes score here against Wolves. Yes, we all miss Reece Nelson. Yes, he's our talisman, but of course what I will say is, I talked about in the summer, this is why we spent big on players like Harvey Barnes. It's the improvement in depth in terms of quality that we've got this year to cope with the injuries and the fixture congestion we've had. That's what I believe will help us stay competitive on all 4 fronts. Barnes makes it 2, and whilst Morgan gives White did get a goal back for Wolves with 12 minutes to go, we held on to the big 3 points there. So following that, as you could see on the back of the big win there, massive bid for Luis Suarez, the Colombian. Liverpool wanted to take him for £122.1 million and bring him to Anfield, make him their second Luis Suarez they've had in a decade from South America. But this one, not Uruguayan, but Colombian instead, have we said to Jurgen Klopp. Appreciate the big offer, mate. That's an awful lot of money. But this guy's the leading goal scorer in the Premier League right now with 14. He right now looks the favourite to win the Golden Boot. He's in the prime of his career at 27 years old. Yeah, I mean, appreciate the offer, but this guy is worth a lot more than that. And I wasn't planning to sell him for anything less than 150, minimum to 175 mil. In the end, didn't even bother negotiating. He's worth more than that. And after losing Reece Nelson, I don't want to lose Luis Suarez to a title rival as well. Absolutely not. So he said to Klopp, thanks, but no thanks. Luis Suarez stays here. And for the fourth and final game of today's episode, this will be the FA Cup fourth round here against Crewe Alexander, lower league side coming to North London to take us on. Felt as though, again, this could be quite an easy path into the fifth round and the last 16 of the FA Cup. Despite it being the case, though, I did pick quite a few starters because, again, not going to underestimate the lower league side, and Lord knows I do not want another early exit like last year, especially not at home at the Emirates Stadium. So a couple of starters, well, quite a few starters out there actually, and it was one of the starters to get us to lead as well. Smith Rowe, who was looking like our most dangerous player on the pitch in the game, scoring early on and almost making it 2 just after the restart. And just past the hour mark, a chance to get that second goal. Harvey Barnes sent down the left-hand side, scored in the last game against Wolves, and I tell you what, I've really been impressed with this guy. He's got a lot of minutes this season and justifying his selection as well. Barnes with his second in 2, once again stepping in from the left. And obviously I mentioned at the start of the season, with Barnes, it's like you can play him further forward, you can play him in the cam role, you can play him out wide as a left winger and inside forward. You can probably do a job on the right side as well, but with Nelson down now, most of his minutes will come on the left. He got his second in 2 there, making it 2-0, whilst Crewe will grab a consolation goal in stoppage time, to be fair. Someone to take back to Gretzky Road. Mikel Mandron, the French forward, formerly out of the Sunderland Academy, made it 2-1. We still held on for the win, and we are into the last 16 of the FA Cup as our slim quadruple dreams remain alive. But that was this episode of the Realistic Career Mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have enjoyed this episode, then please do drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next episode featuring transfer deadline day and the second leg of our Carabao Cup semi-final against Liverpool as well very soon.